Good afternoon. Today I'm going to take you on a midsummer tour of all of the prairies that are planted so far. This right here has been planted in perennial rye only, and you can see it's real sparse where the grass is deep on the side of the hill. This is in the video Battle of Pigweed Forest or something like that, but this was just solid pigweed through here. So I've killed back the pigweed and got this planted with perennial rye on the advice of the Department of Natural Resources, the biologist that was here. And as you can see, it's come up real nice. It's nice and long. So what I'm hoping is that this will all go to seed before the end of the year and add more seed to the area. Seed's expensive. It's, the more seed I can get from self-seeding, free seed, the better. But I am going to go in all of these spots where there's nothing or it's real sparse, like right through here, around that tree down there, just various spots all along here. I'm going to go in with a small, it's like a hand cultivator, just a little 3 tines on the end of a pole. I'm going to rake up a little bit and I'm going to toss Indian grass seed. And then I'm going to interseed amongst this with Indian grass as well. At some point, the Indian grass will take over and this perennial rye will die back. It's not as strong of a competitor as Indian grass, so eventually this will be Indian grass among other grasses, and Virginia rye will be planted back there next year. You can see all the pigweed still there. I'm going to kill that back next year and go into the darker areas with Virginia rye, which will grow in the shade. So you can see that it's fairly empty right through here, which, well, actually I'm getting Virginia rye this year as well. So some of these darker spots, like through here, will likely get some Virginia rye, but I am killing back these trees that are right up by the road, so it's not going to be real shady next year. Okay, the next spot is right up here at the head of this ravine. I really don't have a name for it. I've been calling this Bottlebrush Prairie. That one I really don't have a name for, but we'll go look at it. We're going this way, honey. Here at the head of the ravine, you can see how thick this stuff is. The yellower stuff here is yellow foxtail, and I believe this is crabgrass right here. Big, thick chunk of crabgrass. But hopefully I'll be able to knock that down next year. Got some crabgrass in here. And see, I'm not sure what some of these are until they get seed heads on them. Pretty hard to tell. This is kind of what prairie dropseed ends up looking like. And I planted a bunch of prairie dropseed in here in various little spots. But you can see down low, there's crabgrass down there. This really looks like Johnson grass. Don't want that, but it doesn't have runners, so I'm not really sure. Sure looks like Johnson grass. I'm getting some weeds starting back up in here, so it's about time to spray again. Yeah, I got a big thick patch of, I know there's Johnson or crabgrass in here, but I think there's quack grass as well. I'll have to get in here and identify some of the weedy grasses. This, really not sure of. But this is the kind of look I'd like to have here. Not really sure. That might be a hard fescue. I don't think, though, as good as it's doing, I don't think it's anything I planted this year. So this is more likely the stuff that I planted this year, this size stuff. And there's bunches of it in here, but it's not going to look like much of anything until next year. Yeah, like all this stuff in here, I believe that's stuff I planted. And I planted some very miscellaneous stuff. This is what Dropseed looks like when it's little. This tiny little thing right here. Yeah, same with those two. That's what prairie Dropseed looks like. That as well. And I did plant quite a few little plugs of it in here. I just poked the back of a pin in here and dropped seeds in. So this could very well be Dropseed as well. So this area also has a bunch of Canada rye and a bunch of other stuff in it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Yeah, that looks like Dropseed right there as well. But I think I have some June grass in here too. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, we're beneath a spreading walnut tree here along the fence row. This was planted down here, some Virginia rye, mostly perennial rye, and it's pretty sparse. Walnut trees are allelopathic, which means their roots put out poison. So some things don't grow under them, some things don't grow well under them. So we're going to see how this goes. Like this whole area right here is bare, so I'm going to get in here with a good amount of Virginia rye because it's so dark in here. And I wish I could afford like bottlebrush grass or some other of the shade grasses, but it's just really not in the budget this year. So I got to get some of that seed in here too. I will likely be getting 4 or 5 pounds of Virginia rye before too long. I got to plant real soon. And between that and I have 20 pounds of perennial rye and a few pounds of prairie grass seeds, and what else do I have? Oh, I have 50 pounds of oats. So any areas that I can't get the seed that I want planted this year is going to get some oats on it, just to occupy the space until next year. But yeah, I really want to get Virginia rye in here though. You could see this trail, this deer trail, is just beat down. They've definitely been using it. Come on, Izzie. Izzie. So as we get down in here, you can see that the grass thins and thins and thins until there's pretty much nothing here. Holy moly. That chipmunk was up on this branch and he jumped down right there and then ran over there. I don't know if the camera caught any of that. Pretty cool. So in this area, I want to get this really dark area. I got to get something growing in here. I'm hoping the Virginia rye is the big solution, but that remains to be seen. You can see it's starting to get grassier again. And now we come into, this is called Jason Junction. It's named after my nephew. He has a deer stand right up there. We also have a Justin Junction, which is his brother. That one's been around forever. There's another, his deer stand's way at the bottom. I should be on his camera. Yeah, his camera's dead in front of us. So this is where the bramble patch was, and I've knocked it back twice. You can see there's brambles coming up right there and over there, and some of these ferns are making their way back, but not too bad. But there is real sparse areas like this. I think in this area, I'll let this go to seed and reseed itself, but in these kind of empty areas, I'll seed it with perennial rye if I have enough. This isn't a super high priority because it's doing pretty well on its own. So if I don't have enough perennial rye, I'll seed this kind of area right here with the oats, which I have, you know, like I said, 50 pounds of it. It's $12 for 50 pounds, $12, $13. So, you know, you can get a whole lot of oats for your money. But it's annual, so it'll be gone next year. But the hope is that this reseeds and starts growing in them empty spots. Come on, Izzie, we're going up. Okay, yeah, you start to be able to see the lay of the land. A lot of this underbrush is dying back. This is a cliff right here. It's 6 to 8 feet tall, rock cliff. Once this is cleared out, this is going to be gorgeous. But the Bigfoot tree is directly above here, and that's the next prairie we're going to go check out, Bigfoot Prairie. Come on, Iz. Come on. Up the hill. Come on. Yeah, this looks just beautiful going up the hill here. That is the back prairie behind the house. But I wanted to show, this is the beginning of that cliff area. Goes right around there. This goes kind of down to nothing, but it's, like I said, a good 8 feet tall over there. There's Bigfoot right there, and the prairie's right here. Okay, this is Bigfoot Prairie. This was seeded with, mostly perennial rye, but there is also a good deal of a bunch of other different kinds of prairie grasses in here, so it'll take a while to see what's all in here. Something like this weed here. I'll be through here someday soon, and I'll yank that out and throw some seed in the hole. And then you get tufts of like this and this. Not sure what they are. They could be rye, they could be little bluestem, they could be Indian grass. A lot of this we won't find out until much later in the year or next year. Okay, take a look at this. This is one weed making a giant rosette. Hold on. Look at that. So I come through on occasion and yank that stuff out and throw some seed in the hole. But I didn't bring any seed with me. Izzie, come. There she is. Stay here. Don't go wandering off, you big goof. She's full of burrs. Hey, no, do not go back there. This looks absolutely gorgeous through here. I hope it sends out a whole lot of seed. Don't pee on my grass. Yeah, this looks so nice. Okay, so the next spot is the back prairie. Okay, here's the start of the back prairie. This right here is the Billy Road. We were hoping to have this dozed this year, but I don't know if it's going to happen. It's just super hard to get anybody to work around here. But it's going to come from right near the addition there, right past the tree, right through here and down there. And then we are putting a road in right through here. And we need to get this one in this year as well. I want it to go right through here so there's access to work on the next addition, and so I know where the edge of this prairie is. This one has tons of tufts, which is from weed and seed. You can see them all over the place. That's all from me hand seeding, pulling out a weed and then hand seeding. I like this barnyard grass. Just pull it out, toss it aside, drop some seeds in, and I'll probably be doing that again not too long from now. That's all yellow foxtail, and it's all going to seed, so I don't really want it, I don't want this kind of seed in here. So the more of it that I get out of here and replace it with good seed, it generally comes out real easy. Unless you got a monster clump. Oh, I was pulling on a stick. So I don't like walking through here all that much because I do have many little clumps of grass coming up. This is all foxtail. I mean, it's annual. It's not coming back next year, but the seed that it produces will just go downhill and I'll have it everywhere. So tomorrow I'll likely come in here, pull a couple dozen of these clumps. Goes pretty quick, just walk through, zigzag, and then toss whatever seed that I brought with me in the hole, and you can see where it's been done recently and through here. Looks like I could probably use some 2,4-D in here as well. Even though this prairie right here doesn't look as thick as the Bigfoot one, this one has much more diverse grasses growing in it. Lots of little bluestem and prairie dropseed, side oats. Got a whole lot of variety in here as opposed to Bigfoot, which mostly has perennial rye in it. Okay, the next area is I guess it's the newest area. It's right through here and not a lot going on there, and it's by my daughter's old tree fort, so I've been calling it the Fort Prairie. So let's go check that out. Okay, in here, still got pretty thick tree cover. I have yet to get in here and hack and squirt the bigger trees. I did do a basil bark treatment on the smaller stuff. You can see there's tons of garlic mustard in this area. Yeah, it goes all through there. So this needs spraying. Grass has taken hold really well right here. Still garlic mustard coming through. So I will need to get in here and spray. Got some old targets and stuff. Our original toilet back in there. So there's not a huge amount to see in here. It is getting some decent grass though, so next year this will be a bigger deal in here next year. Yeah, see all the garlic mustard? Gotta hate that stuff. But the grass is working its way in. I gotta kill the grass along that septic mound there, and I'm thinking of putting buffalo grass on there and not mowing the septic mound anymore. That's my thoughts on it. But you could see this whole area, all these little trees are dead. This is just a ton of tiny trees in here, and killing these, well, and that's an invasive. That's a hawthorn right there. There was a bunch of them in here. Some of them are much skinnier though. That's a hawthorn right there as well. Yeah, that's one right there. So this is very invasive. Now it's gone. Bunch of grass through there. So in the springtime, I will plant this area. Well, first I'll do a 2,4-D to knock back the invasives and stuff, and then I'll scratch in seed, and I'll go through here with the saw on the brush whacker and take out all of these little trees first, though. Clear this area out. And we got one tall white oak right there. That's going to be staying, and most of the rest of this is coming out. And there's Izzie. We come out on the road here, and the North Woods pasture is down the road, around the corner, past the round pen there, through the pasture, and into the woods back there. So let's head over there. Okay, we're on the edge of the North Woods Prairie right here, and I just wanted to show you how many trees and branches and stuff are down. I mean, it's just a huge pile in here. The emerald ash borer just really tore this place apart. That and a lot of the trees here are at the end of their life, so that let a lot of light in. So that's when the garlic mustard really started. I believe this is all sedges right here. Yeah, it's a sedge. Got a good amount of sedges going through here. Yeah, a good amount of light coming in right here. This area hasn't been extensively converted yet. For the most part, it hasn't had any hack and squirt. But yeah, look at all the trees that are down. Every time we get a wind, we get more trees down over there. So I did come through here and get the garlic mustard sprayed earlier, so that's why it's fairly open here. Now I need to get in here with the perennial rye and fill this area in so that it's easier to fight the garlic mustard next year. And then I will be planting this back and forth until it's a bunch of prairie grasses growing in here. A little bit of perennial rye to hold back the invasives, and then the prairie grasses, mostly Indian grass in here. Indian grass, little bluestem, and what else do I got? Canada rye. I really am unsure on what a lot of this grass is until it goes to seed. But it should be my prairie grasses because, you know, none of it's gone to seed. It would have went to seed in spring if it was cool season grasses. So the hack and squirt and the 2,4-D sprays knocked pretty much all this stuff back, and now next year by this time it is going to look very different in here. This is orchard grass, I think. If anybody else can identify that, please do, but I think that's orchard grass, that clump right there. That will eventually, it'll be taken out at some point if it is orchard grass, but any nice clump of grass is better than invasive weeds right now, unless it's an invasive grass, but orchard grass is not invasive. So yeah, you can see nice clumps all over the place, and like this area was just knocked back not that long ago. So again, I really got to get in here And if it's already, so I really got to get in here and toss some seed. It doesn't really matter what I toss, as long as nope. So I really got to get in here and get some perennial rye into these empty spots if I don't have cash on hand for prairie grasses. I would rather toss Indian grass, but again, might not be in the budget this year. I think these are all some of my grasses here. Yeah, I wish I could identify more of this stuff, but yeah, see, there it is again. That's that same grass we were just looking at, and it's all through here. I'm hoping that's Indian grass. I tossed a good amount of it in here. Again, all this stuff should go to seed, at least by early September, because it's the first year for a lot of it. So it's going to be small, and it's going to be on an odd schedule. Yeah, there's tons of this dark green clump. I know what a lot of the rye and stuff looks like. And the Canada rye is already gone to seed. And I don't see any of that in here, so not real sure what this is, but I get some good images of it for next year. Yeah, you can see this was just killed back, and this was underneath it. Same thing with that. Once I killed back this top growth, the fertilizer in the spray helped the stuff that was underneath it, and it just shoots forward. Yeah, this is looking really nice. Yeah, again, I don't think that is a woods grass that was here before. I don't recall seeing it. Well, I guess we'll find out. Like, there's a big clump right there. Yeah, I think I will be doing one more update when everything is going to seed, and then a final one as everything dies back right before winter. And then we'll be back in here in the spring and do it again and compare year to year. Again, more of that green, really dark green grass. So it's been growing in shadier areas and in sunny areas. Okay, I'm going to work my way up that way, and if there's any real interesting grasses, I'll show them. Otherwise, I will meet you back over at the North Prairie, and that's the last one. Okay, and this is the North Prairie. This has been weeded and seeded quite a few times, and I'm going to do it one more time this week. And then I'm just going to scratch in the last of the big bluestem seed. This was seeded with big bluestem and perennial rye. And I actually had quite a bit of perennial rye in the mix, so it's mostly perennial rye. So I need to get some of these more open spots. I need to get some big bluestem growing in there. The big bluestem will definitely take over the perennial rye, but at the moment, the perennial rye has the advantage. You can see how thick it is right there. But I do believe there is a good amount of big bluestem in here, and we'll have to wait till the end of the year when it goes to seed to be able to see it. It has a very distinctive seed head, so it should be pretty unmistakable. Yeah, see, there's a couple kinds of grasses right here. So, yeah, the next tour through this area should have everything going to seed. That'll be pretty interesting. Yeah, you can definitely see little clumps of this and that all through here. So I'm hoping I have more than just perennial rye in here. And I know I did put prairie dropseed. I weeded and seeded with prairie dropseed in here as well. So this should be interesting when it starts to go to seed. So that'll wrap up this little prairie tour. If you want to see the progress on all this stuff, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon so you're notified when I post the new videos. Sharing the video helps the channel a lot, as does giving it a like. So if you would do that, I'd be very grateful. Thanks for watching and have a great day.